Hey gamers, welcome back to the Pashcast, the only show that is worthy of the title Big Boss. I'm Pash from Morano, editor-in-chief over at Gamer Syndrome, and you're listening to the Pashcast. Today's episode is entitled, How Being Drunk Helped Me Play MGS V. And there will be an explanation, because that would be a super short episode if I left on that note. So MGS V launched yesterday, got it day one, super awesome. I actually picked up an Xbox One, again, to play it. I got an Xbox One when it launched, but that system was stolen shortly after. Totally blew. Anyways, fast forward 2 years almost, and MGS V launches, and I'm a happy panda. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm actually a little bit of a drinker. I do like to kick a few back when I game. Actually, all the time, but I game quite a bit, so the two coincide. And MGS V launching was a perfect moment to have some good beer. I thought so anyways. What I really loved about MGS V's prologue is that it was super insane. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but I was kind of doubting the story prowess of MGS V based on reviews I read and kind of how Kojima was selling it. And I didn't expect much from the prologue. That was going to be like a super bare bones basic tutorial. And you know, it was a little hand-holdy as far as tutorials go. Maybe a little bit less. Putting the game mechanics aside, it was fantastic, top to bottom, as far as something conceptual is concerned. It was an amazing prologue. I was blown away, and I feel as if actually being drunk while starting MGS V was an awesome idea. Basically, without spoiling too much, Big Boss wakes up from a coma after 9 years due to a series of very unfortunate events. And he's very disoriented, very confused, barely with it, struggling to even stand for most of the prologue. And I think that kind of getting intoxicated let me empathize with them a little bit, because I was actually even sillier than I meant to be, kind of drunk. And it was super fun having not played Ground Zeroes in over a year and being a little silly myself and kind of, I don't know, feeling like Big Boss was my spirit animal in that moment, because he was struggling to understand what was going on, and I was too. And I feel as if MGS V is also kind of a representative of how Hideo Kojima, the creator, was struggling at Konami, because I heard that the environment was very toxic, and obviously he's left Konami for a number of reasons, but I feel maybe when he was producing MGS V, it was an unhealthy environment to be in. And he was feeling, kind of betrayed. MGS V is a story about revenge, and I feel like maybe Big Boss feeling betrayed by the world is Kojima saying, I did so much for Konami, and they don't seem to really care, or didn't thank me really in any meaningful way. So, I mean, in kind of a weird, shared, empathetic moment, Kojima was affected by a negative environment, or was affected in a confused manner, and then he made Big Boss kind of struggle with reality. And then at that same moment, I was playing a video game that I was kind of confused about while being confused because of the booze. So that's, I don't know, fun. I would talk more actually about like kind of the open world nature of MGS V and how it has great variety, but that might be tomorrow's Pashcast. Just because there was a standout moment last night after I finished the prologue of MGS V, which is amazing. Go play that game right now. Where after finishing the prologue and several beers in, I was shirtless, crawling down the hall, drunk, mimicking Big Boss as he tries to escape the hospital. To make it better, just to sweeten the imagery involved here, one of the songs used at the beginning of MGS V's prologue is The Man Who Sold the World by David Bowie. And I actually had that playing through my phone as I crawled down the hallway in my house apartment. So I apparently took very well to the beginning of the game and all of its confusing and amazing glory by mimicking Big Boss himself crawling, trying to escape. So, in kind of a two-pronged effort, I think being drunk helped me play MGS V, or start playing MGS V, because I felt a lot like Big Boss in that moment, just waking up and just being like really disoriented. A little more self-inflicted than how Big Boss was in a 9-year coma. And I hope I never go into a 9-year coma from drinking too much. But the second way was actually kind of channeling Big Boss himself by being so drunk that I'm crawling half naked down a hallway while a David Bowie song played, which I felt like was a pretty good story to share, even if it involved me being a drunk jackass. So that's that Pashcast. Hope everyone enjoyed it. It's definitely going to be a shorter one than most, which is impressive because I have a tendency to ramble. Tomorrow I'm going to talk more about MGS V and how its open world nature is perhaps a little betraying of the Metal Gear Solid formula, but not betraying of fun. And I think that's important. Video game design comes in many flavors, and I think Kojima has shown himself to be a master of it in just about every regard. So yeah, thanks for coming by with the Pashcast. Stop by tomorrow, and we'll talk more about MGS V. And listen to David Bowie's The Man Who Sold the World while drinking a brew for me. I would definitely appreciate the the spirit animal-esque camaraderie we'll share there. So yeah, drink a beer for Big Boss, because he deserves it. All right, gamers, thanks for stopping by. Check you later.